We made it to the last step, annual cycle. Step 6, gathering the harvests. Hooray! So in the winter, grow your root vegetables like onions and garlic and beets and carrots around your fruiting trees whose branches are bare and allow in sunlight. Lettuces and herbs can be grown in partial sunlight too. Crop rotation, this problem is not for food foresters. This problem is for monoculture growers, and it doesn't apply to the food forest. You can plant your seeds in many different places and see how they like it. In a natural setting, seeds drop near the plants they grew from or get carried away by the wind or animals. Generally, the mulch-covered, healthy forest soil will support plants if planted in the proper sunlight and have the right amount of water. Some trees will grow large and cast shade, and those shady places won't have enough sun for summer annuals like corn and tomatoes and peppers and melons and squash. So you can trim the tree or find a sunny spot for those summer annuals. Then we eat, cook, and preserve foods and seeds. Here's the fun part. You get to eat your fill of fresh, ripe fruits, nuts, berries, herbs, and seeds. Gather ripe food from the garden and cook up meals for you and your loved ones to enjoy. Cook twice what you can eat, then freeze half of it in a freezer bag. Pull it out on a busy day, and you have a convenient meal ready to heat and eat. If you can't eat and cook everything, preserve some of it for later use. For example, we find this method very easy. We use a food dehydrator to dry our harvested fruits if we can't eat them all while they're fresh. Once dehydrated, we store them in glass jars. We prefer dehydrating since the dry weather here helps speed the process, and it's pretty simple. You can also pickle, ferment, can, freeze, sell, or give away extra produce. As your annual and perennial plants produce seeds, gather the seeds. Collect the seeds from your highest quality, best tasting fruits of whatever variety of plant you're growing. Even when you harvest potatoes, pick the best potatoes to plant again. This way you will be improving the quality of your seed collection. These seeds will be the best adapted to your environment and should grow into more robust, better plants going forward. Then imagine doing this every year and producing excellent fruits and vegetables that thrive in your garden. When you harvest seeds from your garden, they should be fully ripe. For potted or headed plants such as beans, onions, and most flowers, that means the pods and seed heads should be brown and dry on the plants. You can tell when seed pods are dry because the pods will snap and break instead of bending under pressure. The seeds might feel dry at this point, but they may still contain moisture from rain and dew. As you know, seeds will germinate when warm and moist and hibernate when dry and cold. That is why we see so many seeds sprout during warm spring rains. So to store the seeds for a year or more, we first dry them out, then place them in a dark, dry, cool, rodent-free place, like a barn or a cupboard or a box. If we put moist seeds in a sealed jar or plastic bag, they may turn moldy and die. So the best way to dry seeds is to spread them out so the air can get at each one and let them naturally dry in a ventilated open area. To do this, spread your seeds in a single layer on a flat surface, like a countertop or a cookie sheet, with a sheet of parchment paper under them so they dry quickly. Then shake them up and separate them a couple of times a day until they dry. Even better, place them on a window screen or a piece of screen stapled onto a square frame. Then the air dries them from both the top and the bottom at once. Seeds like tomatoes and melons with gel around them must be soaked in water for a couple of days to separate the gel from the seeds. A simple way to do this is to cover them in water in a jar with a lid and shake the container a few times per day. And once the gel separates from the seeds, you can pour off the gel and the water, then place the seeds on the parchment paper, screen, or even a paper bag to dry. Turn them and separate them to make sure they dry completely within a few days. Once they seem very dry, store them in a cloth pillowcase or a brown paper bag and write the name of the seeds on the bag or on a label on the bag and let them stay in a dark, dry place, sealed off from pests, like a cupboard in a garage or a storage shed. Protect your seeds from pests. Once the seeds are thoroughly dry, you can put them in glass jars with lids. The glass is rodent-proof and you can easily see its contents. Rodents will eat paper, cloth, or plastic bags, but you can put those bags in a closed cupboard or a secure metal box to keep rodents away. Once your seeds are dry, remember these 4 seed keeping guidelines. Keep seeds in the dark, like a cupboard or a shelf in a barn or a garage, so that the light doesn't continue to dry them out even more. Keep seeds dry. Store them in waterproof containers while in long-term storage or in a waterproof area. Keep seeds cold, room temperature or cooler if possible, and keep them protected from rodents. Your seed abundance will continue flowing year after year by following these guidelines. Congratulations, Food Forester. I hope you have enjoyed the 8-step path and are beginning to step through the path to get back into nature, which is our earthly inheritance and our Creator's source of infinite abundance. Now is the time to use your highest creative faculty, your imagination, to create a vision for how you want to live. Your imagination is the highest creative faculty you possess. Look at the many things in your home that you imagined and then manifested that are now an everyday part of your life. We humans are born knowing how to use our imaginations. Little children naturally imagine, creating fantastic visions in their mind's eye and experiencing them as if they are real. We humans can get lost in our dream worlds that take us anywhere we want to go. Using your imagination exercises a phenomenal mental faculty. We can use our imagination and create a vision for how we want to live. Everything we have was once an idea created in an individual's imagination. We were created in God's image, which is the root word of imagination, to use our use our imagination to co-create reality as our Creator does. Everyone is creative, and no one is more creative than others. There's a creative power that is flowing in you and through you if you allow it. Specific cameras and people can see the energy flowing around your body like an aura. Think of imagination as vibration on a conscious level. Yet living as we do in the matrix programming of schoolwork and career work, we tend to forget sometimes how to use our imaginations as we dutifully perform the tasks set before us. We could all benefit from more free time to imagine and create beauty in our lives. Life can and will get better every day through using your imagination. It may have been a long time since you imagined anything, but let's do an imagination exercise here just for fun. Imagine that you are in a food forest and that everything you see around you is growing delicious fruits, nuts, berries, seeds, and leaves that you could pluck and eat, like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. everything is edible. Some of the fruits and nuts you see won't be ripe for a while yet, but others are ripe and ready to eat. Imagine finding nuts or fruits on the forest floor, waiting for you to pick them up and eat them. What's growing around you? Perhaps potatoes, garlic, and onions, maybe apples, pears, cherries, bananas, or pomegranates, possibly cannabis or tobacco for smoking, or hops for your beer. Perhaps you imagine grapes for making wine and champagne, or cooking herbs and spices for your favorite recipes, such as rosemary, thyme, parsley, celery, and cilantro. Perhaps you see pumpkins and pecans for pies, tomatoes, peppers, and herbs for salsa, or melons for snacking. Maybe all of the above and more. Let your imagination visualize the foods you would like to see growing around you. Imagine reaching out and picking ripe hanging fruit and taking a bite. Imagine that it's more delicious and brightly flavored than any fruit you've ever tasted before. Imagine the juice dripping off the fruit. Then as you take another bite, imagine inhaling the beautiful fragrance of the fruit. Imagine yourself enjoying the moment and feeling happy. Now imagine picking and tasting some green leaves and discovering that they are delicious too. Imagine fresh new green shoots of onion, garlic, mint, rosemary, thyme, spinach, nasturtium, lettuce, and myriads of other green edible plants, delighting your senses with their unique fragrances and flavors. Imagine your body feeling more relaxed as the birds serenade you. Imagine the sun shining warmly on your back and a fragrant breeze blowing across your face. Imagine a feeling of peacefulness wash over you that you haven't felt before, that makes you want to stay there and relax and unwind. Imagine feeling surrounded by abundance because there's more than enough food for you and plenty to share. Then begin to imagine enjoying the experience with your friends and family. Finally, imagine picking some fresh produce to cook your next meal. You just imagined being in a food forest. Yay! Imagine your freshly picked food forest produce tastes incredibly vibrant due to growing in nutrient-dense living soil, everything it needs to develop correctly. Now imagine that your body begins to feel active, energetic, and healthy. You like the feeling of energy invigorating your body, so you keep walking and observing. Imagine that the bushes and vines are growing among the trees, also producing attractive fruits, seeds, and berries for you to taste as you walk along. Some taste sweet, some taste tart, some are crunchy, and some are soft. Most are juicy and quench your thirst too. Imagine becoming familiar with the various plants and learning to recognize them when you see them growing due to having tasted their produce. Imagine that you begin to observe the ground under your feet, realizing that even the floor-covering plants have delicate leaves, flowers, or berries to nibble on. Now imagine that you bend down and pull up a flowering plant to discover that its root is a bright orange carrot. You realize that edible roots are growing underground too. Not only carrots, but also beets, onions, potatoes, yams, ginger, turmeric, and garlic. What an exciting and delicious journey you just experienced in your imagination. You just imagined a food forest, a combination of the majesty of a forest with the practicality of growing food. Growing food forests is the best way to grow food, in my opinion. Food forestry synonyms include agroforestry, sustainable permaculture, biodynamic gardens, biodiversity, and regenerative agriculture. I use the name food forest, but I also really like the terms Garden of Eden and Garden of Infinite Abundance. People worldwide still grow food forests as they have done for generations. This ancient practice is our heritage and our sustainable future. We have tried having a few farmers grow food for the rest of us, but commercial farming methods and shipping produce worldwide pollute Mother Earth. Growing your food at home benefits our planet's environment. Food forest growing solves so many problems and can be scaled down to a container garden, a small patio, a large backyard, or up to large acreage. Modern farmers can grow diverse crops using food forest methods. This book is for your family home, my friend. This course is for your family home. Food forests make fabulous family home gardens because they provide a vast variety of produce growing compactly together. You don't have to have much space to grow various crops. Imagine your land producing food, wood, fragrances, medicine, homes for wildlife, dignified, pleasant labor for exercise, and a peaceful coexistence with Mother Earth. Imagination is the bridge from the now to the divine possibility in your mind. We are part of an intelligent system, and we will only thrive when we work in synergy with Mother Earth's dominant forces. And I give you this food for thought. When you grow a food forest, you will have healthy food to eat without much work on your part, and you will leave a legacy of healthy food for generations to come. And I thank you for taking this online course, and I hope that you have enjoyed it and that you grow a beautiful food forest near you.